Hello, my beautiful people. I am finally home in New York. I am finally breathing some fresh air with no rain. So I'm very motivated to talk to you guys today. The topic of conversation is connection, as well as listening to your body, trusting your gut instinct. So listening to your body is something that I have been really working on the last, I would say, year. It started with kind of a really intense anxiety attack on my 29th birthday that actually landed me in the emergency room for the first time in like, I don't know, 15, 18 years. I hadn't been in a hospital even in a really long time for myself. So that was kind of the beginning of listening to my body. And I am so grateful that I did. That hospital trip, while it was expensive, because this is the United States, that was like the catalyst for kind of closing the chapter that I was in my life and beginning the next chapter. And so listening to your body is something that I also really like needed to internalize while I was traveling by myself. If something didn't feel right, if I didn't get a good vibe, if I didn't have a good energy from something, I left. And if something did give me good energy, good vibe, I stayed, and nothing bad happened, knock on wood. I trust that was, the universe guiding me, but also my gut instinct. And I think that we all have an instinct. We all have, our stomach tells us, we have a couple of different brains. We have our brain, and our stomach brain. And so everybody has that. We are trained to listen to this brain, and our heart brain and our stomach brain really tell us a lot more about situations than our receiving the stimulus in our immediate surroundings. The way things look isn't always the way things are. And so being able to trust your body and listening to that spirit wisdom, that inner wisdom, is really important. So get to a point where you can trust your body. And I think like eating right and exercising is really important for that, because if not, like your body is just going to be kind of out of whack, and you maybe won't be able to like listen to it all the time. But getting to that point where you can trust your body, trust your gut, I think is really important in this journey. So that's the first thing is, trusting yourself. The way that this pertains to making stronger connections with people is that, we are like always taught as kids, don't talk to strangers, which obviously as a kid is really important. Don't take candy from strangers, don't get in a vehicle with a stranger. These are important when you're young, when you're a child. But I think that as you get older, we kind of like have kept some of those rules on the table. And I think it's important to have rules in your own life. I think it's important to have like a code of conduct, beliefs that you stand by, values that are important to you. But to have exceptions to those rules, is what makes life. And so trusting your instinct, trusting your gut, and listening to your body when it comes to talking to others and connecting deeply with others. So I just think about, I reflect on, some of the incredible people that I've met in the last year, and the way that each of them taught me a lesson, whether or not I realized it in that moment. Each of them were put into my life in that moment to teach me something, or for me to teach them. But I really don't think that there are any accidents. I don't think that there are coincidences. I think that everybody is in your life for a season or for a reason. And that has just given me such gratitude that I'm able to be grateful for them, you know, in that moment even, which is like such a really beautiful thing. But so connecting more deeply with people. Last week I was in Florida for a bachelorette party, and then I stayed and visited some family that I, you know, only get to see like maybe once a year, sometimes twice. And so now I'm coming to them, you know, post journey. I saw them last in August, which was like right before I left for my first Euro trip. And it was, I mean, such a stark contrast, like, you know, the things that I'm talking to them about that I think really like exemplified kind of like where I'm at in my growth, my personal development, things like that. But it also just kind of showed me how much more deeply I'm connecting with people, and what a beautiful thing that is. And so I think part of connecting with people and the reason why connecting with others is so intertwined, I think, with trusting your gut is because an affirmation that I've been living by and speaking many days since I took the self-love course by Danica Breisha back in January is I am guided by my inner wisdom. And I love that affirmation so much. And I think that it pertains here because you have to let your current state, the place that you are at right now in life, guide the conversation. And so like if what you're doing right now is learning how to fly fish, like let that be something you talk about. If what you care about right now is you know, basketball playoffs, then let that be what guides you. It doesn't have to be exclusively this conversation. You know, you don't have to talk about basketball the whole time. You don't have to talk about fly fishing the whole time. But when you talk about something that is important to you in this moment, something that is like deeply intertwined with your life and important to you, people see that fire and then they'll talk with you about it, hopefully, you know, if they're a good person. Or they'll talk about it in a way that kind of circles back to them and their experience. But that's what connects us. So you don't have to have ever gone fly fishing to talk about a time that you were learning something new and to relate to them on that level. So, you know, some of the things that I've talked about with family that, you know, these are hard conversations with people that I've known, you know, maybe my whole life, mostly my whole life. You know, I was talking with my aunt, who is like not my real aunt. She's the girlfriend of my mom's brother, so my uncle's girlfriend, but of like 25 years. And I was talking with her about like anxiety and deep breathing and meditation and journaling and things like that. And then I was talking with my grandmother who lost her husband, my grandfather, like 4 years ago. And, you know, we were talking about fear and the fear of not finding her spouse in the afterlife. And talking with my godmother about childhood trauma. Like, these are not easy conversations. Talking with my best girlfriends about my dreams and the future. And like, it doesn't matter how close you are with somebody. Like, you can always connect on a deeper level. It also doesn't matter how strange they are. You know, you can connect with strangers too. And so I just want to leave you guys with that today. Let your inner wisdom guide you. Let your experience and the universe kind of guide the conversation. Connect with people more deeply. I am so grateful for the 60-something-year-old man that I met in Italy that I didn't realize in that moment would be so rare, meeting an older guy that speaks perfect English. I'm so grateful for my 18-year-old best friend from Australia. Like, in each of these instances, I learned from them and they learned from me, and we were able to share in this beautiful moment. So I love you so much. Go spread love today, connect with somebody deeply, and be guided by your inner wisdom. Have a wonderful day.